Good afternoon, and welcome to Lunchtime Special in Conversation. I'm Pastor Cynthia West, and I'm your host for this afternoon. Today's discussion, fear. Fear. We have with us some of the greatest motivators and entrepreneurs of the 21st century, and we are so excited to have them. But before we do, I want to bring on to you and make you aware of the King's Pantry. The King's Pantry is a nonprofit organization that areas in Bridgeport, and we feed the surrounding areas. You can always normally get your fresh vegetables and fruit. We are asking you that if you need any assistance during this time, won't you please allow us the opportunity to service you and to meet you and greet you? We will be so happy. The hours are from 10 to 1:30, located on 30 Florence Street. Let us assist you. You don't have to be by yourself in all of this. Well, thank you for joining us in our lunchtime conversation, the 21st century progressors. If you wish to ask any questions, we're asking that you place them in the comment section, okay? And we will seek to read them. We will. Now, let's get ready. Let's hear what these movers and shakers are really doing. How did they combat fear? What did they do? How is it happening for them? W. Clement Stone says, thinking will not overcome fear. Action will. So let's meet 21st century in the COVID pandemic entrepreneurs. The first one will be Lily Enos. Lily Enos is the Lily Enos Group. Lily, are you there? Hello. How
Hello.
are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Well, you're looking fab. You're looking fab. I
Thank
am
you.
I am so grateful to have you present. Lily, will you tell us something about your group?
Okay, so the Lily Ennis Group is a networking and consulting firm. We started back in 2011 when we were actually birthed out of a place because I had just come out of losing employment. And I noticed that people kept asking me, hey, what's a good baker? Hey, what's a good venue for this? Hey, I was always connecting people. And I
Yeah.
said, how can I create this to be a win-win scenario, not only for my community, but also create an income for myself at the same time? And so that's where the Lily Ennis Group was birthed, in essence.
Thank you so much. I am so excited to hear more about this. Our next guest, mover and shaker, Sandra G. from Stock with G. Sandra, thank you for joining us. I believe your sound.
Hello.
Hello. We're
Thank you for
together
having
now.
me. Yes.
Sandra, tell us a little bit about Stock with G.
So Stock with G, I was doing for about 4 years, just giving free stuff away. I always found deals. I always found stores that had different coupons that you could get things that were affordable until one day my spiritual advisor, I'm not going to say the name, told me, I think you should start a business. So about last year, my anniversary is coming up. So September 1st will be my anniversary where I started Stock with G. So you could get affordable household items. I also post deals on my page from other retail stores. So you don't always have to,
Wow.
find from me. There's other stores you can also purchase from.
I am so grateful. We're going to be hearing more about you. Let's bring on our next. Our next guest is going to be Danielle Gill of Posh Beauty Bar, that beautiful building in downtown Bridgeport. Hello, Danielle. How are you?
I'm fine, Apostle. How are you?
I am doing well. It is
Good.
wonderful to have you. Would you just tell
Thanks
us a
for
little
having
bit
me.
about the Posh Beauty Bar?
Yes, so the Posh Beauty Bar is my salon and spa. We actually sell hair extensions there as well called I Am Posh Collection. So that's like an offspring of the actual business. I'm downtown Bridgeport. I've been there for about 8 years. However, the salon itself from different locations. We've been open for almost about 15 plus years. So
Wow.
that's the Posh Boudoir. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Let's introduce our next guest. Our next guest is Elle Brown, the Suite of Beauty. Hello, Elle. How are you?
Hi, Apostle. How are you?
I am fine. I am fine. It is so good to have you.
It's so good to be here.
Would you please tell us a little bit about your salon, the Suite of Beauty?
Okay. Well, the Suite of Beauty is a beauty salon and also offers beauty suites to different professionals. I started the Suite of Beauty in 2016, and I actually started in probably like a 300 square feet suite. And my expectation was for me to stay by myself and only work by myself with me and my assistant. But God had a bigger plan for me, and now I'm located in Bridgeport, Connecticut, in a 1,900 square feet space. And I just look forward to actually helping other beauty professionals and giving them a space to basically grow.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Well, with all of our guests today, all of you, we want to talk and deal with walking and working through this fear, because as you already know, the pandemic put fear in a lot of people concerning their businesses. And so because of that, a lot of people that could have, should have, did not. What did you do when everything started shutting down? What did you do to keep your fear from going wild? Anyone, how did you do that?
Well, I started off by telling everyone that we're in this together. It's all new for everyone. And with my type of business, it will help everyone. So I had different Lysol wipes, Clorox wipes that can put people to ease and know that you don't have to, run in the store, and you can actually get it from me and it's safe. So that helps a lot of people. Yes. So
Instead of you going down, you really went up.
Yes, I went up. I'm very grateful. I'm so blessed and fortunate to be able to help different families, to be able to put them at ease, because during that time, a lot of stuff was very scarce. There were empty shelves. So, I assured people that we're going to do this together. I will work my best to help every home as I can. And so it really took off from that.
That's excellent. How did you
Thank
do it,
you.
Lily, when people were shutting down?
I had to engage a lot more with my audience. Because of the nature of my business, a lot of it is human interaction events.
Yeah.
And so, I had to tell myself, fear is not real. Danger is real. The fear is not real. So I had to say to myself, people are going to respond to things the way I respond to them. So if I stay level-headed, if I stay creative about my business, then so will others. And so the good news about it is that, I believe in multiple streams of income. So as much as, yes, the Lily Ennis Group was events, what ended up transpiring was that I started speaking a lot more about my book. I happen to have a book. People had items at home. So book sales actually went through the roof.
So what's the name of your book? What's the name of your book? Tell us.
The name of my book is The 10 Glam Commandments.
Yes. Yeah. Guys, it's absolutely encouraging. So I really aspire you to get a copy. Go on, Lil.
Thank you. And so I also had to engage more with people, because a lot of people, one of my programs is also mentorship. So I had to get creative and just say, okay, well, I'm going to switch my platform from actual physical events to now just webinars, streaming, more engagement in a virtual capacity.
Wonderful. What about you, Elle?
So for me, honestly, I got a little fearful. Can't be a liar. I was definitely fearful, for a point. But what actually got me through was Romans 5:5. Hope, make it not ashamed. So I just kept saying, like, you know what? God brought me here, and He's gonna get me through this. And I didn't know how. And the biggest thing for me was, it wasn't the matter of was He gonna get me through. It was when. So for me, I definitely, like Lily said, I had to engage with my audience, engage with my clients. And I'm thankful for supportive clients, supportive family members, and a supportive community that definitely helped me get through.
That's wonderful. The fact that you're honest in saying that fear did strike you.
Yes, ma'am.
How were you able to talk yourself off the ledge, though? You know, sometimes people will say, well, I know the Bible says this, but I was still on the ledge anyway. How are you able to calm yourself? Maybe that technique will help someone else.
Well, I'm a fighter, so I just believe in fighting. I just believe in moving forward. I may not have to, I don't have to physically fight, but I have to keep moving forward and just keep moving. And that's basically what I said. I'm a mother of 4, so I couldn't just stop. I can't just stop. And then when you have a goal in mind, you can't just stop. You have to keep going. And there's no other way. I can't really give anyone advice on that, but you just have to keep going. You can't let your emotions get the best of you ever in life.
Yeah, that's very powerful, because I believe if anyone wants to be an entrepreneur, there has to be some grit in you, something in you that says, you're not going to knock me down. And if I fall down, I'm getting back up.
Exactly.
To our audience, we have lost Posh Beauty Bar, but we're working to get them back on. All right, we're working to get Posh Beauty Bar back on with us. But the grit, it takes grit to start a business. Would you guys agree?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Yes. For me, it really...
Do you believe you had more people to say to you, this is pretty silly and maybe this won't work, or you had more people to encourage you? What was your experience?
For my experience in the beginning, I had people laugh at me because I started from selling products out of my trunk. And they're like, oh, you're selling stuff out of your trunk? Like, really? Like, yeah, it's lower than the store. It's still the same brand. And then I started by word of mouth. I started branding, and people started supporting and like, this is real. This is something that can help my home. So I was fearful because I was laughed at. So it was like, okay, maybe this is not going to work. And then I was like, you know what? I know what I want. I know the vision. I'm not going to give up. God wouldn't have put it in my heart. So I'm going to keep pushing no matter what. So there was fear in the beginning as well before the pandemic.
Oh, okay. We have Danielle back. Posh is back.
Hi.
We were talking about fear itself. When you started was one thing, but we're talking now during the pandemic, this whole pandemic episode where everyone was petrified. How did you handle your experience of fear?
For me, when I think of fear in business, the only thing that comes to my mind is just you have to hustle, and you have to hustle your product. And so because I've been doing it for so long, as soon as I was shut down, I said, all right, what's the next plan? You have a retail product, hustle it out.
All right.
So when fear comes in, it's like what Elle said, you just fight.
That's all you can do. The grit has got to come up. Well, did any of you feel paralyzed? Like, oh, that kind of paralyzed? Did anyone feel that way? Like, OMG. OMG.
Yeah, at the beginning I did. I know me and Danielle were talking a lot because they urged us to close. So we both were like, okay, they urging us to close. They didn't mandate us to close. So we're gonna keep going. So I did feel paralyzed. I was just like, okay, so my business is closing down. What am I supposed to do now? This is the biggest part of my income. So for me,
you had just moved. Elle, you had just moved in your salon, right?
Yes, I just opened up my my upgrade space in January, the beginning of the year. So mid-March, I was like, no, I'm not closing. I'm staying right here. But when they mandated us to close, I got creative. Thankfully, I had clients that still were willing for me to come to their homes and service them. So I did feel paralyzed. To answer your question, I did.
Yeah. How about you, Lily? Did you feel paralyzed also? Was there any time you felt that way?
I'm going to be honest. I was one of those ignorant people that was just so in denial. I was like, no, not happening. No, I don't believe in none of this. Yeah. Oh, Danielle cussed me out something awful in the beginning, but she was like, girl, get groceries. prepare for this, prepare for that. And I was just like, I'm not subscribing to any of the madness. I'm carrying on as normal as much as possible. I believe in laws of attraction. And, you know, as much as I also knew that what was occurring was real, I just wasn't going to subscribe to the panic or to any of that. So
Yeah.
I believe a lot and practice a lot even prior to COVID in mental fortitude. So there was just a lot of things where I was just like, you know what? If it comes, it comes, but I'm just not going to freak out about it. I'm not.
So when did you come to reality that COVID is real and, and you're going to have to deal with this and manage to, when did that finally hit you that this is really real?
I actually lost a friend.
Wow.
I actually lost a friend to COVID, and
Wow.
that hit me like a ton of bricks. That was just like, no matter what I did, I was so stubborn. Oh my goodness, I was so stubborn. I did not want to face it, acknowledge it. But when I lost my friend Arnold, I was like, wow, okay, Lily, stop playing with yourself. It's real. Like, you know,
really
even
real.
listening to your sermons every Sunday, I knew it was real. Listening to Elder Cammie, I knew it was real, but it wasn't until I lost him that I said, okay, this is
You
serious.
had to hit home.
Right. It literally hit home.
Yeah. And I think a lot of times things really have to hit home before we go, oh my, maybe I need to step back, rethink,
Right.
and look again.
Absolutely.
How has all of this changed your vision board? How has this changed your vision board? How has COVID itself? Because I personally believe that though COVID have done some things that were very, very heart-wrenching for us, at the same time, we have developed, to those who will allow it, a new vision, a new look on life, a new outlook. How did it change your vision board?
So for me personally, I'm so bougie. Like, I love the finer things in life. I always want the big house, I want a fleet of cars, I want a million businesses. Like, I just believe in living life so grandiose. That's just me. And with this, it was such a wake up call, because I've always had you know, certain financial goals, but I always had goals in terms of how much money I'm going to make, how much money my business is going to accrue. But I never specifically had strong goals as far as how much money I'm going to save, how much money. Like, I started looking and switching my focus on money. So I'm actually so thankful, because it changed my perspective and how I was structuring also my finances in regards to my business as well.
Okay. Anyone else? How did it?
For me, it's definitely changed my vision board, where I definitely have an urge to give back more, to help women around me more. And it's not always, not what you said, Lily, but for me, my focus has been money too much. So I don't want to focus on money anymore, because the money will come, but I definitely want to focus on giving back more, giving up my time more, because I haven't done enough of that. So that's very important to me right now, and that has definitely been added to my vision board.
Okay. Posh?
So for me, it really changed how I thought of my finances. And I always wanted big storefront buildings. I said, I need to go more online. It's still good to have your storefront, but it
Yeah.
made me change my vision and what I'm going to take on as far as expenses.
Okay.
Mhm.
What about you? Stock with G?
So for me, I agree with Elle. It was more focused on how can I help someone else that doesn't owe me anything. So what I did was I started every Thursday, once the pandemic, a live giveaway to get people engaged, because everyone was at home and they were bored, and it got them interactive with different trivia questions, and then they won prizes that they need for their household. So it made me want to give more to people who really were in need. And, you know, even people who deliver packages to me, I made sure they had hand sanitizer. I made sure they had different wipes and household products, because at the end of the day, they're doing a service for me. You're giving me my stuff to make money. So
You probably get your things earlier too.
yes, ma'am. I didn't have to follow trucks anymore, so they knew to come to my house and deliver. So it made me very grateful and want to give back more.
Okay. When you stop and look back, what was one of your key forces to become an entrepreneur? What was
So
one
when
of
I
the
stop and look back, I would say that I had a situation with my job where it wasn't working out anymore. So even with a pandemic, like a lot of jobs were not pandemic proof. So my job was just giving me a hard time. And I was like, well, what am I going to do next? And it was Stock with G. So that really put me to drive myself to hustle more, to depend on my skills and what I'm able to offer to the world.
Okay.
So for me, fear is what made me an entrepreneur. I was working in corporate for a couple of years, and I was probably the youngest Black woman in my firm. And there was a layoff that happened, and maybe I believe that happened in I believe it was 2008. There was a big layoff that happened, and I saw people around me getting laid off left and right. And these people were, there was people that was committing suicide at the time. There was people who lost their houses, and there were people around me that they were really in a panic. And I said, I got to figure out something. This can't have. I can't let anyone have that much control over how much money I make, besides myself and God. So for me, that's what made me an entrepreneur. And then I had women around me that I spoke to that I definitely did my research about the field before I got into it, and asked women around me, like, is this a good field to go in? You think I can do this? And of course, there were some people who told me not to do it, but
Okay.
I'm glad I did it.
Okay. What was your driving force, Lily?
Oh, so for me, my driving force was proving circumstances wrong. A lot of almost every single one of my business moves has come from a negative place. So it's just flipping the negative to the positive. For example, when I first became an entrepreneur, it was because I had just finished battling breast cancer. I'm a breast cancer conqueror. And when I was, yes, praise God. When I was let go from, the hospital, working there for years, it was like, okay, well, what are you good at? What are your resources? What are your gifts? Acknowledging your gifts. And, I went through a lot of seasons where I almost felt, I have these things called Lilyisms, right? They're like sayings. And, I went through a season where I felt like I was being picked on. But you got to acknowledge when you're not being picked on, you're being picked. And so coming out of, breast cancer, I kept saying to myself, okay, I have no job now. I have all these degrees because my background was actually in healthcare initially. A lot of people don't know that about me. What now? What now? And that's when I started the Lily Ennis Group. That's when, Bam Bam was young and he was going to school and he was getting offered all these opportunities to do certain gigs that had I been working in the hospital, I wouldn't have been able to maximize and manage him in the way that I did. And then, even fast forward when I became an author, it was because my marriage was ending. And I said, well, how do I put these lesson plans that I want to give to women, these 10 rules that I feel no matter what you're going through in life will help you? And I went and put them in the book. So, my mentor, Johnny Wimbrey, always says, you can't entertain the obstacle. You have to entertain the opportunity in it. So every negative, I flipped it into a positive. And that's what was my driving force into entrepreneurship.
Posh, what about you? What's your driving force?
I'm gonna be honest. When I first started, I didn't want to be an entrepreneur. My mother actually forced me into entrepreneurship. But as I began to do it, it was like super fast money. And then it drove me to just want more and to possess more. So that was my driving force. So I'm going to say now my driving force is I just like freedom. And
Yeah.
entrepreneur gives me that freedom. It's a lot of work to do, but if you put that work in, this is where you can start expanding and really enjoying your life with the hard work you put in.
Okay. You said something that was real interesting, Elle. You said that fear drove you into your entrepreneurship. And to our listeners, that's just so rich, because I don't think people can sometimes understand that life drives you into success. And it seems like you're all by yourself, but life is really driving you. So by your fear driving you, when you look back at it now, what do you perceive?
Well, I perceive that fear is not always a bad thing because it could push you, either push you into your greatness. And I think if you allow it to push you into your greatness, then it's a benefit. So, I mean, for me, it benefited, it worked.
In you all's careers and what you're doing, what culture in your business do you need to stay away from, not to promote within you a negative vibe? In all of our careers, there's always a negative culture. You guys get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's always something that we may not need to take on, especially when you're assisting other people. What are you finding as a culture that you need to really make a distance in, but keep the person at the same time?
I would say for me, it's people who are negative and don't want to grow. Yeah, because that's yeah. Because and even though in our fields, and Danielle, we deal with this a lot. It doesn't matter what you do, out of the kindness of your heart, people will flip it to be something negative. So you have to be really confident and just say, you know what, you may not be the right person for my brand, for my business. And sometimes we still are forced to work with these people, but that's also, you have to keep in mind that all money is not good money, so that, I think that's very important.
Okay, anyone else? What culture do you see yourself having to shun away?
I'm gonna say for me, some cultures is like super gossipy. I have to keep that at a minimum. When women get together, they just want to talk about a lot of things. And so when you're in a business, you have to streamline that. And so I caught myself a lot of the times even have to change the music. I have to jump in and try to change the subject. So that could be really interesting too.
It's amazing because beauty salons are like barbershops. You all are the psychiatrists for everyone's life. And so it would happen that somebody wants to talk about somebody, that wants to explain about somebody, to show their opinion about somebody. And so, yeah, you would have to jump in. You really would. How do you cut that down, though, even if that person wants to keep on talking?
For me, I would just blatantly say it, or I'll pull them to the side, or I'll look at their stylist, because if we have our meetings and they just know certain signals, so I'll just give them a look, a little nudge, or I'll just tell the client,
Yeah,
as nicely as I can.
But this has got to stop as nicely as you can. This has got to stop. Okay.
Because
G-Stock, how do you deal with that with your business? Because someone can say, let's just say you mention a product. So let's say they can say, I'm only saving 30 cents. How do you handle that?
So for me, I always tell people, just because it's on sale, that doesn't mean you necessarily need it. So I work not to argue over pricing, because the store's price is their price, my price is my price. And I also realize that not everything deserves a response. Not that I ignore clients, but with social media, people tend to be negative in a way. And as an entrepreneur, you do want to engage with your clients, but at the same time, not every negative response, every negative comment needs a response. So that's something I try to shy away from. But if someone needs help, I do try my best. If it's research or something, or if it's an extra coupon, or if you need that item, I'm giving it away on Thursday, tune in so you can save more than 30 cents. So I work to really balance out the negativity and responding to what needs a response to.
Okay. So if I were going to be, well, I already am, but if I didn't know anything about entrepreneurship, how would one of you describe your day? Especially if I was a person given to much sleep. What would you say to a person that likes to rest in entrepreneurship?
Good luck.
How does
I
it
would
work?
say, I would say, if you sleep, then your money is sleep. I mean, you do want to make money in your sleep, but starting off, you have to hustle. Like if you don't have that hustle, that grit, that go in you, then it's not gonna work. But not everybody is also meant to be an entrepreneur. We also need workers. So maybe that's not your field. And then if it is your field, just never give up. Do research. I'm up different times of the hour, so I really don't know what much sleep is. However, it is important to rest your body because if you're not having the energy to fuel your business, then nobody can depend on you. So you have to have that balance.
Okay, so then I take everyone has children but Sandra. Okay,
Yes.
so well, let's start with you, Elle, because you said you have four. With four children, can you tell me how you do your day? How does your day begin? About what time does your day begin?
It depends on what day of the week it is. But most of the time, my day will start anywhere between 7 a.m. and 9 a.m. But I get it done. Honestly, I have a very hands-on husband. Kudos to him because he helps us out. He's very hands-on with our kids. So I have to say that. But if it wasn't for him, I can't. I'm not a single parent, so I'm not doing this by myself. So um, it requires a lot of hands-on from everyone. Sometimes my 16-year-old will help us out from time to time. Everyone is helping, and I'm raising my children to be independent, to get things done. And you taught us something very valuable. You told us that we're raising our children to live without us. So I'm definitely trying to help them live without me, as much as can. Of course, not the little ones, but definitely the older ones.
Yes. How does your day start out, Lily? Because you have two
Woo.
boys, two very active, talented guys in your life. And now that you're a single parent, how does all of this work?
I literally have a chart at home and it's color coded. It's color coded by the days. Thank God I happen to have an assistant who also helps me. And she literally sends me my calendar from the night before of what my day is going to look like the following day. But it's crazy because even my child is an entrepreneur as well. So I have to maintain his schedule, my other child's sports schedule, our family schedule. It's a lot. So usually I'm up by like 6, 7 a.m. and I'm typically going to bed at like 3. But I acknowledge that this is a season of my life. What I usually tell people is that when you do have a goal and you are a committed entrepreneur, it's almost like, you guys ever seen that picture, that meme where you're digging for gold, digging for gold, digging for gold, and it's right there. So that's the season of my life that I'm in. I know this is not going to be forever because eventually I'll break and I'll get to the gold where one of my personal goals is to be fully staffed. I want to have a chef. I want to have a driver. I have all these goals. Once that I get there to that financial space, then things will look differently. But until I grow my brand where I can accomplish those things, then I'm losing sleep. That's just what it is.
How about you, Danielle? With your,
I'm gonna be honest.
how old is your
I'm gonna
daughter?
be honest. Savannah is 4.
My God, time goes.
Yes. When I first started, it was a little rough for me because it was just so new and I was so used to, like I told you before, I started entrepreneur when I was 19. So when I had my daughter, it was years past and so I had to adjust. And but once I got into the hang of it and then I started to work smarter and not so harder, I aligned up things within my business where I didn't have to go back. All I had to do was go back and check it. And so right now, I'm just experiencing some freedom and fulfillment and still working to make sure my brand keeps on growing.
And that's very interesting. You said something else, Danielle, that I want to piggyback on. You said that during the COVID and everything happening, that you started selling your brand and working with other avenues of income through merchandising. Talk to us a little bit about that. Selling yourself and your products.
Okay. So I had to show my face more. Social media is like a driving force for sales at the moment. So I noticed I had to do what was trending. People want to see you. They want to know what's going on in your life, and so I had to show them that. And I also had to appeal to them because everyone wants to look great. So I had to show myself looking great. I had to show my product looking even better. And so those were some of the things that I did. I just had to
That's a good
appeal
point.
to the masses. Hmm.
That's a
What was
really good point. Sorry to interrupt.
the,
Okay.
Especially like for me, one of my businesses is in the industry of network marketing via direct sales. And what I learned is that when you're growing a team and when you're building a business like that, people buy into people that they like, know, and trust. And so, kind of in this stage where it's so hard because you don't want to let people in like that because of the shift in business and how social media has really encompassed business, you do have to somewhat brand and market yourself by giving a sneak peek into your personal life
yeah.
when you are building a brand.
Oh, okay. When you say that, enter into your personal life, how do you guys mean? I don't quite know what that means.
So for me personally, the way I let people sneak peek into my personal life is I might do like a word of the day, a scripture of the day, so that people know aside from being a businesswoman, I'm also a real person
Okay.
because
Okay.
it lets them know a little bit of my personality. Or I
I got
might share a joke of something that happened with my children.
yeah, okay. And that's how you do it also, Danielle?
I'm more on the image side. So I need them to believe that they can wear my product and look just as great. So I'll switch it up. I'll throw on a different lipstick. I'll throw on a different I call it wig units. I'll throw a part in it. I'll throw another shirt on with it. And I would just kind of like dance and play the most trendiest
Yeah,
music that's
okay.
out. Yeah, that's still respectful to my brand.
Yeah. What are
Hmm.
you doing about that, Al?
Yeah, I'm not into all of that, so I don't do that. But what I have been doing is definitely educating people more because I'm going towards more education wise. So definitely educating my clients and educating people on what works for their hair. I'm definitely focusing more on hair care. So I'm definitely working on my product line will be launching soon. So I'm working on that. I'm doing that. Yeah, for me, I'm not really into. I'll do it on my personal page, but not on my business page because I like to keep the two separate. But I don't do wigs as much as Danielle, so that makes sense for her. But for my brand, it doesn't. I don't have to do that.
Oh, okay. I like the variety of choices. I love the variety of choices. How do you do it, Stock with G?
So for me, a lot of times I post different deals on retail stores. So to connect with them, I show them the deals that I personally brought to know, like, this is real, this works. I do post some personal pictures and items just to show my face so they know my brand. But also when I do live giveaways, they see my face, they interact with me. So that's another way that I connect with them. You have to like stay with what's going on and what's relevant. So I work to do that as well. So like with the pandemic, a lot of people were looking for certain items, not only like household items, they were looking for items for the children to learn. So I made sure that I attract to the audience of parents, to the audience who needed certain products for their children. Even though I don't have children, I do understand that it's hard to like keep them focused, even though we're out of school. So I really try to engage with different parts of the age groups, parents, single parents. So that's one way that I keep it relevant and also, keep it personal at the same time to know, like, this stuff works. I bought this deal. So that's what I do.
Okay. A word that the four of you are using a lot is relevant. So, what do you do to generate your new ideas?
Research.
Research and
Research and
development.
research and ask Gen Zs. They are very smart with stuff like that. They give a lot of ideas. I had a Gen Z told me she checked out my page and I misspelled some words and different stuff, and I need to
Oh
add
my
this.
goodness.
Yes, I was very grateful for Kanaya's input. So I try to research and also ask different age groups, what would you like to see more? What would you like to see on my page that, attracts different crowds? So research definitely.
Okay. Anyone else?
Um,
New idea.
I focus. It's really not new, but it helps just to stay trendy. So if you know something is trending, you incorporate your brand into that actual trend, because they have this thing called algorithms on social media, and if
Okay.
you are in that path, this is where they do the mass exposure. So I just try to trend and stay professional in that trend.
Okay. How do you manage yourself when everything is so pressing? How do you manage your personality, your attitude? How do you manage all of that when everything can be so pressing? You have to have days where everything is like, ah. How do you manage not screaming? How do you manage not being rude?
I listen to you.
Prayer.
What happened?
We
I said
turn
I
on
listen,
you.
Yeah.
Okay,
and
but
we have a joke. We have a joke, Apostle. When I'm ready to act up online, there's a picture of you, and Kwame puts it up every time I'm about to have one of those days. And he'd be like, Apostle looking at you. And I'd be like,
okay.
ooh, stop.
I'm so
Bring it back
glad.
in. Bring it
I'm
back
so
in.
Yeah. One of the things that I've learned and I've been implementing is just doing prayer and meditation really
yeah.
heavy in the morning before I start my day, because I find that it grounds me. And I know when you're an entrepreneur and you're just a child of God, things will come to attack you. And so I feel like if you pray and you meditate and ground yourself in that morning, it's going to help significantly through your day.
Excellent. I think that's advice for all of our viewers, prayer and
Yes,
meditation.
It's true.
Yes,
it
it
sets
is.
the tone for
Okay.
the day for a fact.
Yes,
For a
it
fact, it
does.
sets the tone.
It
It
does.
really does. You know
Now,
what I also do? I keep
yeah.
stickies everywhere. I keep stickies everywhere. Even my
Affirmation.
cell phone is a screenshot of
Yep.
a reminder. Scriptures everywhere, and that
Hmm.
way, when I'm having a moment or I feel like I'm being attacked, everywhere I turn, there's a visual reminder.
And I think you're going to have to put it up nowadays because people on a whole are so angry, so
Yes,
afraid.
So
You're going
true.
to have to keep yourself in check so you don't go off in the same attitude because it's an easy thing to do.
Yes, it
It
is.
really is an
yes,
easy thing
ma'am.
to do. In the managing of all of this, as entrepreneurs, what is your favorite aspect of being an entrepreneur?
I would say the freedom. It's definitely the freedom. At the end of the day, we're able to make as much money as we want to make. So it's just, I like being able to move how I want to move. And basically, I have like all these different brands that I want to start, but definitely you have like the limits are there. There are no limits in entrepreneurship. You can do
No,
whatever you
it's
want to do.
endless. It's
It's
endless.
limitless. So I think the biggest thing is just delegating responsibilities.
Mhm. Okay, what do you like about it?
I love the influence part of it. Um, Being an entrepreneur, a lot of times makes you a leader, and people
Hmm.
look to you and respect you. And I love that in the sectors of entrepreneurship that I've, taken a part in, I've been able to also put other people in a position to also become entrepreneurs or put them in a position where I've put money in their pockets. And that's, to me, is fulfilling because I've
Yeah.
never been the type to just, it's for me. It's always, okay, how can we do this together? So the fact that I'm able to mentor, teach people, or give them the ability to also earn with me it's huge for me.
Okay.
So I
What
will also say influence as well, because people look for help, and for me to know that I can help you, especially with people who have larger households, it makes me feel good that I'm able to be there for them. So the influence and be able to help someone, whether I know them or not, that really makes me feel like I'm doing something.
that's great. What about you, Dan?
For me, I'm going to piggyback off of everything they said because all of that just makes sense. And
Okay.
love, I love the challenge of entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
I love that I have to fight to get what I want. I just enjoy it. And I love that it forces you to have a mindset of constantly growing. You have to constantly
Yes.
grow and you have to constantly learn. And I love that challenge of it.
I have to say, I love the challenge of having to constantly grow
Yeah.
and not become stale. And that constantly growing, guys, can become very fearful, because it's like another turn. Can I make this turn? Can I make this turn? And you just jump out there and say, yeah, I can make it. If somebody else made it, I can make it and succeed tremendously. Where do you find yourself going now for your business plans? Have you already set up your vision board for 2021?
Not yet. I have it set up for the fourth quarter, but not for. I do it in quarters.
Okay.
Yeah. So my vision board is set up for the fourth quarter.
All
Got some
right.
things in the works.
What is the objective that you want to see for yourself by the end of the year? Anyone? What is your objective?
So my objective and to go into next year is to have a warehouse. Amazon started in their garage, and I believe I can too. So that is my objective, to grow larger. And it's something that my dream scares me. So when it scares you, you know that that's something that God will always provide for you to, make it happen. So I'm gonna make it happen.
Okay. Anyone else? What is it for? What do you see? What do you see for yourself?
I see
Well,
myself. Go ahead, Elle. Go ahead.
go.
Okay. I see myself going more into women empowerment. I've always been there, but the more I just get into it and the more I learn, I just want to see the woman next to me, my sister, and everyone grow. I want to see us all hop on a private jet and say, "We got this. We did this. Let's go and let's have fun."
Okay. Where did the empowerment come? This great desire to empower women. How did that come up for you, Danielle?
It's kind of always been there. So if you
Okay.
work with me or if you were just around me, I always supported. I always like shared what I knew. And so the more I came into valuing myself and trusting myself and knowing that what was for me was for me,
Yeah.
I said, I want to share more. And the more I share, I feel like the more wealthier I just become. And not wealthy just in money, but wealthy
Oh,
all around.
yeah.
Yeah. So that's
Yeah.
where
The
it came
wealth
from.
is unlimited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was so empowering to me that I actually started a girl group called Girl Own It. And it's just
Okay.
about
Say that again to us. What's your group?
it's it's called Girl Own It.
Girl Own It. Okay.
Yeah. So what I focused on is teaching women to love yourself, trust God, experience health, wealth, and just happiness. Like embracing yourself totally. Because God crafted us and when he did, he meticulously he meticulously made us just great. And so I just want everyone to know that around me
Okay.
because it's
So
so
who can
good.
join Girl Own It? What do you have to do? How old do you have to be a part of Girl Own It?
Actually, I didn't really think about the age group, but I don't think there's an age group because we don't do anything inappropriate. And if someone comes in with different age groups, then I'm going to place you where I feel like you should be placed at.
Okay.
And so anyone can join it. You can follow us on the social media page. It's called at Girl On It. We're working on our website now, but if they want to follow us, that's how you can reach us at Girl On It.
At Girl Own It.
Yeah.
Okay. And your primary function and purpose is what?
Millennial women. I feel like we work so hard. We try to take care of the children. We try to take care of our business. It's like we do not get a break, and we don't allow ourselves to get a break. So I want us to travel and just be in fulfillment. So that's who I would like to connect with.
Girl, own it.
Yeah.
All right, own it. All right, Lily, you were going to say something. Was it about girl own it?
No, no.
Oh, okay.
I think Elle was saying something though,
Yes.
right? You were about to speak.
Oh yeah. So basically, you were telling us what our goals are. So basically, my next step is I want to pull up the next generation behind me. I've had a lot of entrepreneurs, young girls. My daughter started a brand called Young Chemists. So I wanted to get other young people and help them with their entrepreneurship and basically make sure they have all the resources to start. So I have 5 young women, and I started a group called iBeauty Galore. I haven't really launched it yet, but
say that again.
It's called iBeauty Galore,
Huh?
and
Okay.
I'm going to be definitely reaching out and helping young women. I have 5 women already a part of the group that, and we're just going to basically focus on education. I want them to do research and definitely educate them on what they need to do to be a successful entrepreneur, and definitely bring in other people. And hopefully all these ladies that we have on the panel will help me and support us and do some classes with them. But definitely, I definitely believe that we need to reach out to the Gen Zs because they are really fearful right now, and we definitely have to show them that that they can make it and they could be anything they want to be.
Mm-hmm. Without a doubt. Without a doubt. In fact, I'm going to have a program with nothing but Gen Zs up here. So we're going to see how that works. It's a whole board of Gen Zs. I hope America is ready for what is going to happen. Okay, in the interim of all of these things, where do you see your mental state right now? Where are you mentally and emotionally? Do you want to share that with our panels, with our groups?
It's funny because I'll be vulnerable. And I'll share. I want to say within the last 2 weeks, I've been stressed. I've been so stressed out.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, I've been stressed. I've been pretty good up to now. I'm one of those people where it's like, no, nobody checks on the strong friend. That's me. I've allowed what I realize is in this entire season, I've been checking on everyone, doing everything for everyone, where I've gotten to a point where I've allowed loyalty to be a leash. And I got to a place 2 weeks ago where I just said, you know what? I'm letting go. I'm actually on vacation. I just picked up my boys and said, we're going to a little getaway because I needed to mentally just retreat. And
Yes.
so I'm taking the week. This is the only work thing I'm doing this week. And I'm just going to enjoy my time with my children and kind of just regroup. There are some serious goals that I have, for 2021, as far as I want to obtain a building. I want Lily Ennis Group headquarters. And I know it's going to take a lot of work to get there. And in order for me to get there, there's a lot of people where I personally have to put aside. And I have to enter a selfish season. And for someone that genuinely cares a lot and is a philanthropist by nature, entering that season is going to take a lot of mental fortitude, but I needed this week to be able to enter that season. So, yeah.
May I suggest to you, Lily, instead of calling it selfish, can we call it firewall time?
Firewall time. I like that. I'm going to write that down, actually.
Sometimes we need to have a season. I'm getting ready to take mine. It's a firewall time. I need to go back, focus, get my new ideas, come back up, refresh, because you cannot keep going, and don't stop. You're only fooling yourself. You have to stop. You just have to stop just for a while. And so to a person who does not understand entrepreneurship or doing things. To them, it would be selfish. You know why? But for an entrepreneur or for a person that's in great leadership, it's called firewall time. It is not a me day. A me day is for somebody who has nothing to do. But it's a firewall time because once you start building a life, there are no me days. Every day has to have a total purpose. And a me day is not a day with total purpose. So it has to be a firewall. And because when you deal with a firewall, what you're dealing with is that you are purposely going out. Something is going out burning, and something is going to be recovered. So a firewall day means I'm building around me a protective shield, and I'm coming back out like a phoenix from the flame.
You want to know? Pastor, stop playing with me. You want to know what I so serious, just incorporated my new business and concept, okay? Because she just gave me chills, okay? Ooh, my goodness. The card just came in the mail prior to me coming here. The new corporation, 12 Phoenix Inc., because you told me to do everything with discipleship, 12.
That's it. So the Phoenix, and this is why we're living in a very spooky time where everybody wants to be spiritual. It's very, very spooky. But this is a time that you must be concise and you must understand. And we have to emerge like the Phoenix from the flame. This is not a sensual thing. This is a mental thing. Sensuality is a part of the demonic call. But mentally, God calls us to be great mental people. And the great mentality comes out. That's where the ownership is at, in your head, not in this. So, Phoenix, let's emerge like a bird from the flame. I'm better from my trouble than I was before I went in my fire.
Yes.
God, you don't look like you're stressed now, Lily. You look like you're okay.
You just blessed me. I'm good now.
Guys, our time is up. It went by so fast. It went by so fast. Thank you so much for sharing this time. And thank you for giving us some of your me time, if you want to call it that. I say it is firewall time.
It's an honor. Thank you.
Take your firewall time. Thank you all so much. Is there anything you would like to say to our viewers before you leave? Anything you want to encourage, and any way you want to encourage, rather, a new entrepreneur or even an older one that's still working in the flame of this?
I say if you have an idea, work it. Just do it. Just do it. Don't think twice. Just get it done.
And never
Excellent.
give up. No matter what, never give up. You can do it. Sometimes you just need to take little breaks, revise. But if God gave you the dream, you can push it. You can do it.
Yeah.
And be careful what you subscribe to.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Okay. All right, Posh.
Just what else said, just do it. You
Yeah,
have,
just
you
do it.
have nothing to lose. You're gonna challenge it. If it don't work, you learn what you did, do it again, and do it different, and make it work. Just do it.
Well, thank you again. I bless your businesses. I know it's going to go even further now. And we celebrate you. God bless you and have a wonderful afternoon. To our viewers, we thank you so much for sharing with us. This has been a wonderful time. I have to give you a scripture. I have to give you a scripture. And it's John 14:1. It says, "Let not your heart be troubled. Let not your heart be troubled." And trouble and being concerned, it is so easy for us to do because it is our humanity, and we have been trained to worry. We have been trained to be stressful, but there's something so much greater in your life, and that's called your future. And your future is waiting on you to be like a phoenix. Arise from your flame. Have a good afternoon.